Triple A. We sit behind wall. We do the wave all by ourselves. Hey, a blind man could have made that call. There's nothing like the view from the Chiefs.
Syracuse is led by top Blue Jays prospects Carlos Delgado and Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez hit a 2-run triple in Game 1 yesterday, but it wasn't nearly enough. The Richmond Braves, Mike Kelly, hit a 2-run homer in the first. He drove in 4 runs all told, leading the Braves to an 8-6 win. Richmond leads Syracuse 1-0 in the Governor's Cup. It feels like October here in Syracuse tonight from Macarthur Stadium. Game 2 of the 1994 Governor's Cup Championship Series, the Richmond Braves and the Syracuse Chiefs. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller along with Joe Morgan, and it feels like October. And here in Syracuse, they've got some of that Fall Classic fever. It's the Braves and the Blue Jays in the Fall Classic, or maybe as close as we'll get to it this year. Actually, the Braves AAA Ball Club Richmond and the Blue Jays AAA Ball Club Syracuse. Syracuse beaten last night 8-6. Now tonight, in this best of 5, a must-win for them, Joe. They've got to win this one as they head to Richmond.
Well, they're going to go to the visiting team's ballpark. You can't go there 2 down. And plus, on Tuesday, they will face maybe the best pitcher in all of AAA this year, Brad Woodall. So they have to win tonight's ball game. If they don't, the series is going to be over in Richmond.
Could be over in a hurry, that's for sure. Now, the ball game last night won 8-6 by Richmond. They scored 4 runs in the first 2 innings, all driven in by Mike Kelly, a former #1 pick for the Braves.
Well, John, when he first signed, he was just a raw hitter. Now he is becoming a very mature hitter. And last night he illustrated this by going down and getting these balls. Look at this. This is a pretty good pitch here. He goes down and lines it off the wall in left center field for 2 more runs batted in. He is really showing his maturity here in the playoffs.
All right. Now, like their parent ball club, the Blue Jays, the Syracuse team has outstanding hitting. They led the International League in hitting, 281 for an explosive ball club. Shawn was the International League's batting champion, hitting 344. And, of course, there's a guy here who might be a big league superstar one day. That's Carlos Delgado.
John, I'm going to remove the might. He is going to be a big league star. Delgado has all the qualities that it takes. I mean, he can hit the ball out of the ballpark, as he illustrates here in the first part of this series. And take a look, even the Red Sox, the Pawtucket Red Sox players had to get out and look at this. But we've seen him hit balls off of in the Sky Dome, hit it off the cafes. He's going to be a big star.
He went right off the Hard Rock. The only other guy done that was Fred McGriff. So we'll see Delgado and the Chiefs in a must-win tonight against the Braves. And their starting pitcher, Kevin Lohman. We'll be back in Syracuse. Stay with us. Eddie Little, the manager of the Richmond Braves, and his team is up 1-0 going into action tonight. And here's his Braves batting order. It'll be Brian Kowitz leading off in left field. Bobby Moore in the lineup tonight. He did not start last night. He'll be in right field. Mike Kelly, last night's hero, 4 RBIs, center field. Louis Lopez, the DH, hitting cleanup. Jose Oliva had a tough night last night, dropped to 5th in the order. Ed Giovanola had a great game last night, second base. It'll be Perez, the catcher, hitting 7th. Tyler Houston at first base. And then Mike Mordecai is at shortstop, hitting 9th. And on the mound for Syracuse, their top starter this year, their biggest winner, Jesse Cross. He was 14-11 for Syracuse.
Yeah, and let's take a look at Jesse Cross. He has a good fastball that he needs to spot. Also has a good curveball, but the key will be him spotting the fastball, being able to move it around and throw strikes.
Jesse Cross, not a very big fellow, only 5 feet 10 inches tall, and he's 26 years of age. And he felt that he was not being given a shot by the Blue Jays. And in fact, this last spring, when they told him that he was being sent back down to the minor leagues, he announced his retirement from baseball. His retirement lasted for just about a week. He had gone home to his Tunnel Hill, Georgia home. He was going to work there as a machinist making steel parts for factory equipment. First pitch, Brian Kowitz, first ball swinging. Little pop fly. This is Shawn Green, the right fielder. And just like that, there is one away.
Well, Johnny starts it off with a fastball in a good spot, up and in. And again, you like to jam the left-handed hitters if you're going to throw a lot of breaking balls later in the ball game.
So just like that, there is one away, and Bobby Moore will come up. Bobby Moore hit .366 in the 60 games in which he played in the regular season. Bluffs the bunt, takes too low for ball one. Jesse Cross was talked out of his retirement by none other than Mel Queen, the Toronto farm director. Called Jesse at home, told him he thought he could pitch in the big leagues, but he needed to stay with it. That's a base hit for Bobby Moore. So the one out there is one on, and that will bring up Mike Kelly, last night's hero.
And let's take a look at the Syracuse defense. Shawn Green in right, Rich Butler in center, Perez in left, Battle, Gonzalez at shortstop, Cedeno at second base. Joe Liss is now at first base. Delgado behind the plate and Cross on the mound. They did not play very good defense last night, which is illustrated here by Gonzalez. And you notice he played the ball off to the side. That's the first thing I noticed last night that I wasn't happy with. I think he needs to get in front of the ball more. He played a couple of balls off to the side. To be a good major league shortstop, I think you have to get in front of the baseball and use two hands if you can.
I've never heard anybody who doesn't like to see that. I mean, it's almost like it came in about the same time artificial turf came in.
Right. You're right.
Strike one to Mike Kelly. Two-run homer in the first last night, as we showed you, and a two-run double in the second. Kelly did not have an extraordinary regular season, but he has been very strong so far in the postseason. Of course, last night, as we told you, in the 5 games of the postseason, including their first-round playoff against Charlotte, Mike Kelly has 9 runs batted in.
Well, I think, again, John, it's a sign of his maturity as a hitter. Now he says he has a better idea of what he's doing in the batter's box.
Moore at first with 10 steals. There he goes. And it's a foul off the glove of the catcher, Delgado, and Moore will have to go back.
They've been taking their liberties in the playoffs against Delgado, not just Richmond here. I'm talking about Charlotte. They were taking their advantage of him, and they've been taking off at any chance they get.
You look so disgusted when you said that, Joe. Taking liberties, like you would never have done that when you were a player.
No, but I'm thinking in terms of the catcher usually gets the blame, but most of the time it's really the pitcher that doesn't hold the runners on.
He struck him out.
And again, that's a good example of what I was talking about, the spotting of the fastball. He threw him a couple of breaking balls in this count to get ahead, but watch this pitch up. You see Delgado's glove is up. The high fastball up and in. He threw the same pitch to Kowich leading off the ball game and got him to pop it up. Now he throws a fastball up and in on Kelly to strike him out. That is going to be the important pitch for him tonight, the fastball and being able to spot it.
Here is Luis Lopez. He was 6th in the league in batting for the year. Fellow with the major league experience. Lopez, for the regular season, hit .305 with 18 home runs, 79 runs batted in. From Brooklyn, New York. Moore at first, 2 down, and that's a foul back out of play. Lopez just turned 30, so he's been around a long while. And he's had some big league experience with first the Dodgers, the club that signed him, and also with the Cleveland Indians. He got 82 at-bats 3 seasons ago in Cleveland. 2 down, Moore at first. This Richmond ball club has some power, but not a whole lot of power, and they like to force the action. Brady Little will, as he told us last night, he'll run at every opportunity, and he says sometimes we'll run when we don't really have the opportunity. That's up and in for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, we saw him last night in last night's ball game use the hit and run effectively on several occasions, and not only when it didn't work, it also moved the runner up. A lot of times they went from first to third, but other times they at least moved the runner into scoring position.
Safe at first, and it was very close. The fans didn't think so. Joe List, the first baseman, find the tag, and Moore was just back.
Well, let's take a look at it. The first mistake he's making is he's moving away as the pitcher's getting set, but he is back in time. He should already be out there before the pitcher gets set. You can't be moving away while he's going up with his hands.
One ball, one strike, two down. From Macarthur Stadium Syracuse, it's a cool, brisk kind of an evening here. Feels like October. Runner going. Left center field. That's in there. Knocked down by the left fielder Perez. Rounding third and scoring is Moore. Into second with a double is Luis Lopez. And for the second night in a row, Rochester, or rather Richmond, has gone ahead in the first inning.
Well, this is exactly what you did not want to happen if you're the Syracuse Chiefs, because you're already down 1-0 and you do not want to fall behind early. Lopez gets this pitch out over the plate and hits it up the gap in left center field. They had a shift on for him. The center fielder was playing more towards right center, and the left fielder was playing pretty much straight away, so that ball found the gap easily in left center field. Actually, it was closer to center field than it was to left center field.
Jose Oliva, he's the home run leader for this club, 24 in the regular season, and he also hit 6 in the big leagues with Atlanta. Two and 0 the count.
Wait. You mentioned Rochester. Did you play in Rochester?
I just had Rochester in my head somehow.
I thought maybe you played there.
It's one of those towns that started with an R. I've been to Rochester.
Oh, I thought, but you didn't play there.
I never did.
You didn't broadcast there either?
Well, it all depends. Play what? 3-0 the count. 54 degrees the game time temperature tonight. The wind 5 to 10 miles an hour. That's blowing out toward left field. 1-0 Richmond. And Jesse Cross has walked Jose Oliva.
Well, they're always going to be careful with Oliva, and especially with a runner in scoring position. There's Bob Didier, manager of the Syracuse Chiefs, going out again. You can't afford to fall behind early in this ball game because pressure will start to build on your players. So that's why he wants to go out and calm the pitcher down and make sure he can get out of this inning with only the 1-run scoring.
Coming up Tuesday night will be game 3 of this Governor's Cup Series, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and we'll be televising that ball game on ESPN 2.
You mean we're on the Deuce, not the regular ESPN?
The Deuce.
The Deuce.
That's right.
All right.
On Tuesday. And if there is a game 4, we'll be back here on ESPN on Wednesday night. Ed Giovanola is the hitter now. Giovanola, during the regular season, hit .282 with 6 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Last night, this guy was in the middle of everything. He had 3 hits, including a bunt single. He reached on an error. He got a walk. He reached base 5 consecutive times, scored 2 runs. And he fouls this one away.
When you watch a left-handed hitter, whether he's in the big leagues or here in AAA, the one thing you look for is how quick he gets the bat through the hitting zone. And I think that's why you saw him being so successful last night. He really throws the bat through the zone pretty well.
Perez on deck. He would be next. That's Luis Lopez at second base. Jose Oliva's at first base. Both better to go in anything with 2 down. That's too high. 2-1 to Giovanola. Jack Wilson coaching at first for Richmond, and Bruce Kim is the third base coach. You see, Jesse Cross did some of his best pitching this year down the stretch. That one is hit high in the air deep into right center. Green can't get it. It's off the base of the wall. Lopez scores. Here comes Oliva around third. He'll score. And at second with a double is Giovanola, and it is 3-0 for Richmond.
Well, as I said, he swings the bat really well. He gets the bat through the zone real well, and this is a fastball, and he gets through and he drives it off the wall right center field, drives in 2 more runs, and it's now 3-0 favor Richmond. See, that's what you like to see from a left-handed hitter, able to open his hips and get the bat through the hitting zone.
That'll bring up Perez now, the catcher. Eddie Perez at 260, 9 home runs and 49 runs batted in. Runner at second, 3 runs in. All of the runs scoring after 2 men had been retired. That's a base hit into right field. Now Green's got a strong arm. Here comes a throw. It's there and skips past Delgado. Scoring is Giovanola, and down to second goes Perez, and it is 4-0. And that ball was there, Joe.
Well, it wasn't a good hop, or it didn't take a good hop. If that ball would have hit about 5 feet further out, it would have bounced 1 hop maybe to Delgado. Well, watch Perez. He drives it to right field. And you mentioned Shawn Green, one of the best throwing outfielders in the league, comes up, fires it, keeps it down. Now watch it. See, it skids right there. And now it takes the big hop. That was a tough play for the catcher. Now watch. Delgado blocks the plate very well, but you see the ball bounced up. Tough play for him to come up with. It's just a bad break there for Syracuse.
So here is Tyler Houston. 4 runs are in, and the Syracuse ace, Jesse Cross, cannot get that third out here in the inning. That is a base hit into center field. Here comes Perez heading home, and the ball will come into the cutoff spot. Scoring the 5th run of the inning is Perez, and Tyler Houston, who is one of the heroes right at the end of the regular season, his home run in the 8th inning of a ball game last weekend against Charlotte was the winning hit in their division clincher, and he drives in the 5th run of the inning here.
And there's going to be some activity down in the Syracuse bullpen, but all this has happened with 2 outs. They've had 4 base hits and a base on balls to drive in all these runs. Man, what do you do? You're the manager, Joe. You've got your best man out there, big ball game, and he doesn't have it. And the problem is, a lot of times, if he could get out of the 1st inning, you know, he'd be all right. If he could have gotten out of this inning with 1 run or maybe 2, he'd been in good shape maybe the rest of the way. But we've got a long way to come back. But Syracuse has the best hitting team in the league, so maybe they can come back from 5-0.
Back to the bag at first is Houston. Mike Mordecai is the hitter, the 9th place hitter. Here's Houston at first base. He had a 2-run homer in the last of the 8th inning of a ball game against Charlotte last weekend. His club was trailing 6-5. That put him ahead. They won the game, won the division. Alex Gonzalez throws out Mordecai, and at long last, the 3rd out is recorded. 5 straight had reached base with 5 runs scoring. Syracuse coming up.
I run a small business, Wilderness Air in Kodiak, Alaska. We provide some of the best salmon fishing in the world.
That's a shortstop. Shawn Green, the batting champion in the International League, right field. It'll be Robert Perez in left field. Carlos Delgado, at one point this year, was leading the American League in home runs. Joe Liss, a hero in the 1st round of the playoffs, first base. Ray Gianelli, the designated hitter. Howard Battle, a very fine prospect at 3rd base. Domingo Cedeno spent time with the Blue Jays this year, 2nd base. And Rich Butler is in center field, the younger brother of Rob, who is with the Jays and is on strike. There is Kevin Lohman, and he's making the start for Richmond, only 22 years of age, and he's got to like his chances in this one.
I would think so, but he's very similar to Cross in that he has a good breaking ball, but again, his fastball is the key. If he's able to move it around and spot it, he can be successful. And let's take a look at the Braves defense. Bobby Moore in right field, Mike Kelly, Kowitz in left, Oliva at 3rd, Mordecai at shortstop, Giovanola is at 2nd base, Houston's at 1st, and Perez behind the plate, and Lohman on the mound.
Alex Gonzalez, one of the top prospects for the Toronto Blue Jays, leads it off. He takes a strike for a moment.
And they take a vote of the tools of the trade. They call it the best players at each position and the best prospects in the minor leagues in AAA. And Gonzalez was voted the best fielding shortstop, best defensive shortstop in the International League this year. We have a lot of those best in this ball game. Shawn Green was voted the most exciting player in the league and the best outfield arm, and we all know he was also the best hitting prospect. That's Shawn Green. He's on deck. So quite a future in store for Shawn Green.
2-2 now to Gonzalez. Gonzalez two and two the count, and that's low, ball 3. Gonzalez from Miami. His father, who immigrated from Cuba to the United States in 1960, has been a professor at the University of Miami since 1969. So Alex grew up going over to the ballpark there, watching the University of Miami play under manager Ron Frazier, and he got to talk to the University of Miami players through the years and learn the game from them.
John, if I remember, ball 4. If I remember correctly, he was not taken until around the 13th round, and that was because they thought he was going to go to college and play baseball rather than sign.
Well, he was headed to the University of Miami and had not had a very strong senior season in high school, Killian High School. But then it was discovered that the problem he'd had that year was he'd had a collapsed lung in mid-February of 1991. Kind of slowed him down, as you might expect. Very good student, Alex Gonzalez. And he's in the Blue Jays system. And now he's at first base trying to get something started here with Richmond leading 5-0. Here's the International League batting champion, Shawn Green, 344. Runner going. Swing!
Well, that about tells you how Bob Didier is going to play this ball game. He's not going to sit back and wait for something to happen, even though he's down 5 runs here in the first inning. Gonzalez had a pretty good jump, but it was also a good throw there by Perez. Now watch, he gets a good jump. See, he's got, in fact, that's an excellent jump. Quick release and right on the money. Nice play by Perez.
1 ball and 2 strikes now to Shawn Green. Kevin Lohman, the pitcher's got an interesting curveball. And it's interesting because of the grip. And they say it's an excellent curveball. And it's very unusual the way he grips it. Oh, he hit him near the right elbow or the forearm. A painful way to get aboard, but they need base runners. And that's not what Lohman wanted to happen right there. He wanted to get Green out of there. Now he's in trouble with a 5-run lead, and this
at his expense.
Steve McInerney, the trainer, has been over there attending to Shawn Green. The batter will be Robert Perez, who very fine hitter. Hit .304, 7th in the league in that category. 10 home runs, 28 doubles, 65 driven in. 2 men on, nobody out. He shows bunt. And right now, Lohman doesn't really know where the ball's going.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling. A base on ball and a hit batsman. And now this pitch is about 2 feet off the plate inside.
Brady Little, manager for Richmond, a little concerned. Ball 2. Went for the fastball and missed with it. Robert Perez from Bolivar, Venezuela, 24 years of age. They like him for his hitting. That's a strike. 2-1. Well, we mentioned this last night on our telecast on ESPN2, but it's worth repeating. The Syracuse Ball Club is extraordinarily explosive. That's fouled away off to the right. The other night, they'd been shut out for 5 innings in a game against Pawtucket. And then, according to Bob Didier, the manager, in the span of 11 pitches, They scored 7 runs.
So they turned a 3-0 deficit into a 7-3 lead in 11 pitches.
11 pitches. Hammered to center field. Base hit. Here comes Gonzalez rounding third. He'll score. Stopping at second is Green. And here comes Syracuse. It is 5-1 Richmond. And the big guns are coming up. Delgado is next.
Well, John, this could be an exciting evening. Lots of base hits. Well, because he's behind the count, he's struggling a little bit. He comes with the fastball. He tries to go outside with it, but he gets it in the middle of the plate. Not a bad pitch because it was down. You have to give Perez credit for going down and getting it and lining it into center field. But he better be very careful here with Delgado.
Well, we saw that home run Delgado hit Thursday night against Pawtucket at the beginning of the broadcast. A monstrous shot. High and foul off to the left. Now, in this ballpark, it is 434 feet to the straightaway center field wall. Extraordinarily deep. You see the wall out there, the blue wall. 434, and in the history of this park, and we're talking more than 60 years of baseball here, only 8 players have homered over that wall. Delgado was the 8th. Good sinking action on that pitch. Delgado over the top of it. It is 0-2. There is Shawn Green at second base. And Perez is over at first base. Macarthur Stadium opened in 1934. This is the 61st year of baseball here. Like another old ballpark, Tiger Stadium, Detroit, it's got a huge center field area. Too low. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Delgado. Now, in spots like this, in the big leagues this year, after he had the incredible beginning, he had 8 home runs in 19 games, they started throwing Delgado a steady diet of curveballs. Here's a curve, and he shoots it foul.
I don't think his weakness was so much the curveball itself, but getting a curveball for a strike. What happened in the big leagues was he started looking for the curveball. They started throwing it to him, but they were not strikes, and you start swinging at curveballs out of the strike zone, no one can hit them. But I think he just has to learn to not look for the curveball, look for the fastball, and adjust to the curveball and get a strike, and you can hit it.
Fastball is too high. 2-2 to Delgado. He looks menacing up there, and he's got a ferocious swing. He was the chalk of the Grapefruit League. Everybody who saw him play this spring down in Dunedin went away talking about Carlos Delgado. A sharp curve in the dirt. Now the count is full.
That's what I was talking about. He was swinging a lot of those pitches in the big leagues, chasing that pitch down and out of the strike zone. No one can hit that curveball.
5-1 Richmond, but Syracuse with 2 men out and nobody out, and a 3-2 count to the slugger Delgado. Giovanotto to second, 1. Back to first, 2. Double play.
Tell you what, you have to give Lohman a lot of credit there. That was a crucial pitch, and he went with the fastball. And the reason I say it was crucial because there comes a time you can't run away from the hitter. If you cannot afford to walk another hitter this inning, you have to go at the fastball. If he hits it out of the ballpark, he hits it out. But he gets a good sinker down and away. Delgado hits a ground ball, and the infield turns it for him. Giovanola over to Mordecai and back to Houston. So smart pitching there by Lohman and a good opportunity and a smart time to challenge the hitter.
May have diffused this would-be big inning. Here is Joe Liss. He takes a strike of beauty right at the knees on the outside. Liss, who had an extraordinary series against Pawtucket in the first round of the league playoffs, the divisional playoffs, drove in 12 runs in that 4-game series. Joe Liss. The name may sound familiar because there was a Joe Liss who played the big leagues back in the 70s.
Who played against him?
Remember, he was with the Phillies, and that was Joe Liss Sr. Runner at third, 2 down. There's that curveball, too long. 2-1. Now Lohman not only made a big pitch there to get Delgado on the double play ball under duress, but he also was coming off a rather poor performance the other night against Charlotte. Down the right field line, base hit. Coming in to score is Green. Heading for second is Liss, and he's in there. Ball was juggled in right field by Moore. And Liss kind of hesitated. They might give a single and an error. We'll see. It is 5-2 Richmond.
When you have a good hitting team like Syracuse does, you're never going to stop. You just continue to swing the bat. That is a good pitch, and that's just good hitting by Liss. He goes the other way. Now, Moore came up to throw, his feet slipped out from under him, so that's why Liss was able to go in the second. I think they should score the double.
And they do. In the dirt. And Liss, halfway to third, thinks better of it as Eddie Perez keeps the ball in front of him, or at least off to the side. Too risky, decided Liss. So a 5-run first inning for Richmond, and so far a 2-run first inning for Syracuse. And now Grady Little out to speak to Lohman, who's thrown 28 pitches so far in this inning. Eddie Perez, the catcher, also out there. 5-2. Richmond ahead. Last night was not quite as wild in the first inning, but we had a 6-3 score here at the end of 3 innings last night. And Richmond scored 2 runs in each of the first 3 innings of that game for a 6-0 advantage. And then Syracuse got 3 in the third to come storming back. The final was 8-6. Birkbeck won it over Brow. Mike Kelly with a homer and a 2-run double, 4 RBIs in the first 2 innings. And Giovanola with 3 hits and reaching base all 5 times. 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball high in the air to left field. Going back is Kowitz for the one-handed catch. And that is the inning. I have this feeling there might be some more scoring tonight. 5-2 Richmond after 1.
I could have it, so could you. In fact, all women have a 1 in 9 chance of getting breast cancer. 1 in 9. For those of us over 50, the risk increases, which is why we should get a mammogram once a year. It can help detect cancer early, and it's as easy as getting an X-ray. Remember, when it comes to breast cancer, the worst thing you can do is nothing at all.
If a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, does it make a noise? If you have a great product or service and no one knows about it, is it truly great? And if you spend a lot of money to advertise...
ESPN 2, and then Game 4, if necessary, we're right back here on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And then, if needed, Game 5 on ESPN 2 Thursday night. We'll have it all for you right here. Or right there. One or the other, we've got you covered. Here's Brian Kowitz, the leadoff man. All 9 hitters batted in the first inning against Jesse Cross. So here's Kowitz again. He whacks one deep down the right field line. It is gone. A home run. So, Kowitz, who was one of the few guys who did not get aboard in the first inning for Richmond, leads off with a home run here. He hit 8 during the regular season.
And I don't know how long they can stay with Cross, because the most devastating thing to a ball club is to fall behind early, then you battle back a little bit, and before you can get anything going again, your pitcher gives up some more runs. Well, here's the pitch. Looks more like a palm ball or something. It didn't look like it had a lot of rotation on it.
Strike 1 to Bobby Moore.
Didn't have any rotation until Kowitz hit it anyway.
And the bullpen is going to get busy once again for Syracuse. There's a curveball. And where was that? Called a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Joe Ganote, who had gotten up in the first inning, is up again. There he is. Over the outside for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Moore. Moore's single started the 5-run first inning rally. 6-2, Richmond ahead. Richmond has been scoring a lot of runs in the postseason. Pop fly, shallow center. Out from second goes Cedeno. And it falls, base hit. Heading for second is Moore, and he's going to make it.
In the 2 nights that we've been here, we've seen lack of communication cost the Syracuse Chiefs a lot of runs. And now the manager, Bob Didier, is coming out again. Now, this is a lack of communication. Someone should make an attempt at this ball, and no one does. Someone has to be called off. See, everyone stops right there. You see Cedeno go out, and he stops. Butler's coming in. Gonzalez going out. Someone's got to make an attempt at that ball. And it looked like it was more Cedeno's ball than anyone else, and he looked like he had the best shot at catching it.
Why did he stop?
He probably just heard the footsteps of Butler from center field.
So it's a double for Moore on what should have been a pop out. Nobody out, runner at second. 6-2 Richmond. Here's Mike Kelly. A mighty cut at that breaking ball. 0-1. Kelly hit only .262 in the regular season with 15 home runs. Did spend a brief time with the Atlanta Braves. Hit a couple of home runs up in the big time this year. Former #1 draft choice for the Braves. Right through the middle, base hit. Moore heading home. The throw by Butler. It's there, and he is out. Delgado with a great job of blocking Moore off the plate. He was unyielding. Kelly ends up at second.
Well, Delgado shows that he can block the plate. I mean, he had it blocked earlier in the ball game, but the throw skipped by him. This is good hitting here by Kelly. Doesn't try to pull the ball. He slams it right back up the middle, and I'm still surprised that they got the speedy body of Bobby Moore on this play, although it's an excellent throw from Butler all the way in the air, and quite a collision there at home plate. You see Delgado, he says, "You're not getting in here," and he just blocks him off.
Now Luis Lopez comes up. Runner at second, 1 out. That's a strike. So a single for Kelly. He takes second on the play at the plate, and the out at the plate from the center fielder, that man, Rich Butler. You know, and I like it after we saw those bad bounces that the throw in the first inning took from the right fielder.
He just decided to throw it all the way.
Yeah. Well, that's a good idea.
But I tell you what, it was also good base running by Mike Kelly. He saw that they were going to have a play at the plate, so he says, "Hey, take me," and tried to get the run across, but wisely the first baseman did not cut the ball off, at least let it go through.
Pop-up. This is Howard Battle on number 2. Luis Lopez, who doubled home run his first time, retired here. Is Kelly still at second base, and Jose Oliva will be coming up. 6-2, Richmond ahead in the second inning. Richmond was, really down in the league statistics for offense this year. I think they finished 8th in the league in runs, which is not very good. But now in the postseason, in the first 5 games through last night, they've been averaging more than 7 runs a game. They got 6 already tonight.
Sometimes you match up very well against a pitching staff and not, the pitching staffs of the entire league.
Curveball outside from Jesse Cross. 1 ball, 1 strike.
No, Oliva, like Shawn Green, had one of the votes for one of the offensive stars of the league. He was voted the best power hitter and the best power potential in the International League.
There are a few National League pitchers that agree with that. He had 6 home runs and only 59 at-bats with the Atlanta Braves when he went up there with the injury to Terry Pendleton.
Let me get that correct. He was voted the best power prospect. Not necessarily the best power hitter, but the best power prospect.
Two and two. Oliva hit .253 in the International League with 24 home runs in only 99 games, remember, plus those 6 home runs in Atlanta, plus 2 postseason home runs already. Good 3 caught on the outside. Beauty. So it started off terribly for Cross and Syracuse, but they turned the inning around on the great throw, and then the other minor league championship playoffs also going on. We'll try and update you on those as the evening goes along. Howard Battle, the powerful third baseman for Syracuse, and he fouls one away. I understand that, according to the Wire, the sports ticker, more meetings between players and owners of the baseball strike could take place as early as tomorrow, but that the deadline for the cancellation of the season will be no later than Wednesday. Base hit down the right field line for Battle, and it will go to the wall. Moore has to give chase, and Battle has a double.
John, I'll tell you what I've been most impressed with these last 2 days is the hitters. They will pull the breaking ball, and their guy will come back with a fastball, and they'll go the other way with it. Usually, if you try to pull the first pitch, you try to pull the second one. But these guys are going the other way perfectly. And look, the catcher sits up on the outside corner, pitches away, and, I mean, he just rips it. Battle just rips it down the right field line. That is good hitting.
There's a lot of guys on the Park Club who hit that way.
Yeah.
In Toronto.
Yeah.
Domingo Cedeno running up as if to bunt, taking too high, ball one from the right-hander, Kevin Lohman. Now, Lohman lasted only 3 2/3 innings in his playoff start earlier in the week against Charlotte. The defense played very poorly behind him, though. High in the air, down the left field line, going back is Kowitz. He's there, reaches out, makes the catch. Kowitz is a very fine outfielder. After that one, the throw skips right through the middle of the infield and rolls over to the dugout and into the dugout. And that will get the run home. Battle scores.
Well, we'll have to see who they charge the E to. I find it hard to fathom that, I don't care how terrible a throw it was from the outfield, that someone couldn't cut that ball off. We saw Perez try to slide into it from the catching position. Let's take a look at this. That's a fine play there by Kowitz. Now he turns and fires back. Well, we'll take a look at it now. Well, you see a last-ditch attempt there by Perez to try to stop it from going into the dugout, but he couldn't do that. And it's always 2 bases on a throw from an infielder and outfielder in that situation.
So it is 6-3. And here is Rich Butler, the 9th place hitter. Bullpen activity. Chris Selbach warming up in the bullpen for Richmond. An error charged to Kowitz, the left fielder, for the throw. The crazy thing in that is that he had no reason to hurry the throw. The runner was 2/3 of the way to third. It had only 1 place to go, and that was back to second.
But the only problem with that, John, is he doesn't know that. He's chasing the ball. So it's the infielder's responsibility to make sure that he knows where to throw the ball, or at least say, you know, you have time. But again, someone should have been able to cut that ball off or stop it from going into the dugout. Now, I mean, here's the ball coming in. Now, somebody's got to knock that ball down.
Well, Oliva was right there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Just drop down in front of it. Let it hit you in the chest, anything. I mean, it wasn't that bad a throw that it should have gone into the dugout.
2-2. And fouled away. But even for Kowitz, though, and what you're saying is very true, but no matter the circumstance, just hit your cutoff, man.
Right. Well,
can't go wrong doing that.
That's true.
Two and 2 to Rich Butler. And he fouls it away. Butler battling it out here with Kevin Lohman. Rich Butler, 242 for the year. 3 homers, 27 batted in. His older brother Rob also played here for a while before going up to the Blue Jays. Rob is on strike. 3-2. Rich did this last night a couple times. He goes up there and really battles the pitcher. Had a walk last night in the spot where it really hurt. It sails over the head of Kelly. It rolls all the way to the wall. Butler for third. Standing at third.
Well, Kelly started in on the ball because it looked like it was a line drive. It was going to carry right to him, but the ball carried over his head. Now you see him trying to go back, and he actually mistimes his jump, and it goes over his head. And here's Kelly going back, and you can see he jumps a little too quickly. And the ball goes over his head, and Butler winds up at third with a triple. Well, they scored. Well, you can't. That's amazing.
They scored in an error. And that will also be the end of Kevin Lohman as Selbach is being called in for the bullpen. 6-3, runner at third. Gonzalez coming up.
Every day we all find a way. A promise made, a promise kept, given in our bed.
Only the best garages display the Napa Auto Care sign. You know they'll fix it right using Napa parts. No wonder Americans trust Napa Auto Care centers to keep their vehicles running.
We keep a man.
Running shoes here because there's been plenty of that going on tonight. 6-4 the score. Now coming up, Army versus Duke Thursday on ESPN, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. The Blue Devils, led by running back Robert Baldwin, who set a Duke record with 238 yards rushing in the opener against Maryland. The coverage begins with the weekend kickoff show at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Then it's Army and Duke at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Army defeated Holy Cross yesterday, 49-3. Duke defeated Maryland in its first game, 49-16, and was idle yesterday. Here's Ed Giovanola, a man that has not yet been retired in this series. You know, I mean, Mike Kelly had the 4 RBIs last night for an early lead in the MVP running for this series. But how about this guy? 3 hits last night, a double and 2 RBIs so far tonight. He scored 3 runs.
And John, when I watched him in batting practice, again, I was impressed with, the way he hits the ball. Gets the bat through the zone very well. We saw him hit a double off the right field wall. It was just a line drive tonight.
Jesse Cross still out there for Syracuse. They're hoping that Jesse will settle in here now. They've been able to keep him in the game with their 4 runs. But he gave up 5 in the first and then another in the second. Curveball, a little looper into left field. Nice catch out there by Robert Perez. And finally, after reaching base 6 straight times in this series, Giovanola is retired. That's the first time in the series.
Well, very good play. But you see, actually, I thought he trapped it a little closer to the ground than he did. Good play there by Robert Perez. Got a good jump on it.
Had it all away.
Right.
Here is Eddie Perez, catcher for the Braves. He singled home run his first time. Ball 1 to him. Jesse Cross not only is the big winner for Syracuse, a 14-game winner, but he has never been beaten by Richmond. That's a base hit into left center field. I mean, in a must-win situation, they got their best pitcher and also a guy who's had great success against Richmond. This year, he had a 1.38 earned run average against Richmond in 2 starts against them. But he's been getting racked up tonight. We'll see. Now, there are other games going on in the American Association Championship Series. Game 1, Indianapolis is leading Nashville 3-0 in the 5th inning. In that ball game, Terry Bross for Indianapolis and Brian Kaiser for Nashville. Willie Green a home run in that one. Here is Tyler Houston, and he's got a base hit left center field. Racing after it to cut it off out there, the center fielder Butler over to third base, and a holding is Perez, and Houston has a double, his 2nd straight hit. And I'm afraid that Jesse Cross may just never get it together here tonight.
I tell you what, these guys are pretty good hitters too. I mean, they're swinging the bats. You can see Bob Didier telling somebody to hurry up and get ready. This is the sinker. He lines it in the left center field. And I guess this is one of the other things I'm noticing about most of the hitters. They're not trying to pull everything. Going back through the middle, straight away outfield. You know, they're not trying to pull the ball.
10 hits as Didier goes to the mound. 10 hits against Jesse Cross tonight, including 4 doubles and a home run. And that will be all for Cross. I think it's evident that he just does not have it tonight. Joe Ganote, who may have thrown as many pitches in the bullpen as Cross has thrown in the game, will get the call. Runners at second and third, 1 out. Mordecai coming up, 6-4 Richmond. Got to keep those guys from scoring to keep his ball club from falling far behind again. There is Perez at third and Houston at second.
Well, Ganote has been known as a breaking ball pitcher before this year. So he went to the Hawaiian Winter League last year, and he worked on throwing his fastball, and he got a little better, and he said, which in turn has made his slider a little better. So he says he uses his fastball a little more in these situations now.
The slider, it's in there for a strike. He was a Shark this winter. Pitched for the Honolulu Sharks in the Hawaiian League. You know who the manager was there?
Yes.
Len Sakata.
I was over visiting Len and the Sharks.
0-2 the count.
I attended a game. Actually, I broadcast part of a game there.
Oh, quit bragging.
Well, I did. I had a good time, too.
Well, I was over in Hilo, and I saw the Hilo club play, the Hilo Stars. So there.
And I'm going again this year, John.
I understand that Hawaiian League, they're not going to play this year. It was too expensive or something. They couldn't get it together. They're on hiatus.
They better not be. I've already told them I'd throw out the first ball. Maybe it'll just be me and you there, huh?
Well, this is my suggestion. You and I should go over there and be ready for that, even if they don't play. And we'll just try to do something else if they're not playing.
All right.
What are you doing tomorrow? 1-2 the count. It's a fastball right into the hands. We got him on our Ducks gun at 89 miles an hour with that one.
Yeah, that's where he's saying that it has improved. But quite naturally, when you come into a situation like this, he has more confidence in his breaking stuff. So the first couple of pitches we saw were sliders. And he got ahead in the count, and now he tries to bust the fastball on the inside part of the plate. And he did a good job of it.
Mike Mordecai, 14 home runs in the regular season with a .280 average. Over the middle, that'll get a run home. At shortstop, Gonzalez, nice play. Coming in to score is Perez. Houston goes to third, and it is 7-4. Mordecai got the job done.
And like a lot of young infielders, when you just have to go and make the play, you usually make it better than the balls hit directly at you. The balls hit directly at you, you kind of nonchalant them, do not charge them, and that's where you get in trouble. You do not get in front of them. But this ball here, he had to go get it, so he makes a good play.
Leadoff man Ryan Kowitz now. Homered his last time. Foul up the first base side. 1 strike to count. You know, you go back to that, the ball hit. I mean, it wasn't hit well. As you see, the concession stands area.
Oh, that's pure adrenaline.
Hey, the way this game's going, you may need some in a couple innings, Joe. Maybe making that for you. That's up and away. But, you know, he threw the slider there to Mordecai, and he bounced it over the middle. The pitch before that, he jammed him with that fastball, and I had a feeling Mordecai was not going to be able to catch up with that fastball from what I'd seen.
I agree with you.
There's a high drive to right field. Going way back is Green, back at the wall. Another home run for Kowitz. A 2-run shot. It is 9-4 Richmond. Well, Syracuse keeps coming back at this game, but Richmond keeps answering in kind. 9-4, and the lead is back to 5, just as it was when they put 5 on the board in the first inning.
Well, that looked like a breaking ball that didn't break quite as sharply as he wanted it to. That is a curveball or a slider that kind of hangs in the middle of the plate. And when you do that, you get
lit up.
Yeah.
At third base, this is Battle. A wide throw. And Liss can't handle it. He's stretched out for it. And it'll be an error charged to the third baseman Battle. Bobby Moore with a single and a double, and now reaching on the error.
Well, let's take a look at this play. He has plenty of time. He straightens up and fires. Well, I'm not so sure that ball should have been caught. That ball was in the air, and it hit off the glove of the first baseman. It didn't bounce.
Should have had it.
Should have had it.
Now here is Mike Kelly. Strikeout in the first. He singled to center in the second. Battle gets charged with the error. First for Syracuse. Liss is a guy that ordinarily would not be at first base tonight. Ray Gianelli was there last night, but he hurt his back while running out a triple in the game last night, and so they put Liss over there tonight.
Yeah, Liss was the DH last night, and Gianelli was at first base, so they just flip-flop roles tonight.
9-4 Richmond in the third inning. A pitch out, but Moore was not running. Moore with 10 steals in only 60 games in the regular season. Plus a .366 average for that guy at first base, Bobby Moore.
There's Kowitz, thinking that he has 2 more chances, maybe 3.
Battle. Nice pickup. A long throw. Too late. Mike Kelly, too much speed, but what a pickup, robbing Kelly of an extra base hit.
You're right. Good play by Battle. I went down on the infield today. You know, some of the infielders were saying it was not that consistently good. It wasn't an infield, but I didn't see it to be that bad. But this is a great play there by Battle just to keep the ball from going down the line. He really doesn't have a chance to throw out the fleet Kelly, but he comes up and throws anyway. Kelly easily across the bag. I didn't find the infield to be that bad. But then I don't have to catch it.
Here's Louis Lopez. Well, I talked to a couple of the infielders. In fact, I talked to Mike Mordecai, the shortstop for Richmond. And he says it's much better than it was in the regular season.
Okay.
But he says, then again, it's still one of the worst ones in the league.
Good. That's what I said. It looks okay to me, but I'm not catching ground balls on it. I was just walking on it.
Looks beautiful from up here.
It's okay to walk on.
That's ball 2 to Louis Lopez, who's had a double and a run batted in. 1 for 2. Now it is 9-4 Syracuse. We're going to have to get the record books out here. This continues on like this much longer to check out what the record is for most runs in a Governor's Cup game. The most runs in a World Series game was the 29 the Blue Jays and Phillies racked up in Game 4 of the World Series last October. 15-14 the final in that game for Toronto. 3-0 the count. And the Toronto Farm Club here in Syracuse may have to get 15 to have a shot to win this one. Down 9-4 in the top of the third. Ganote has retired only 1 hitter since he came in, and that's as a walk. The bases are loaded for the leading home run hitter of the Richmond Braves, Jose Oliva. There's John Poloni, pitching coach for Syracuse. I have to talk to John Ganote.
And they're all down there wondering.
Joe Ganote.
Next.
Yeah, Joe Ganote.
Yes.
By the way, John Poloni says that his wife Lynn and his kids Jenna and Matthew, who live down in Tarpon Springs, Florida, are watching tonight. Coming up in the Governor's Cup, Game 3 from Richmond, from the Diamond. Brad Woodall, maybe the best pitcher in AAA this year, will be going for Richmond. That'll be on ESPN 2, and then if necessary, Game 4 on Wednesday night at 7:30 right here on ESPN. And then Thursday, if necessary, the final will be on the Deuce. The curveball for a strike, 0-1. Richmond has had 22 men come to bat in this game, and 15 of them have reached base. 1 ball, 1 strike to Oliva. He has walked and struck out looking. That is Bobby Moore at third base, Mike Kelly at second base, and Louis Lopez is over at first. Jose Oliva, 32 home runs so far this year when you add them all together. Time taken. No relation to Tony Oliva. Tony Oliva was a line drive hitter who hit his home runs, but he was a batting champion type. Jose Oliva, he's the prototype power guy. And you see a lot of power guys do that.
Yeah, they will chase, especially a lot of breaking balls that start over the plate and break off. He's got kind of a long swing. Watch how long his swing is. See, it takes a long time to get it through the zone. That's not all bad if you're strong enough to handle a lot of pitches inside. So he doesn't have to be that quick inside.
1-2. And he chased one even further down and away. Slider got him. And the Braves leave the bases loaded. But they already had 3 on the board as it was with 4 hits. And Brian Kowitz has hit home runs in each of the last 2 innings. It is 9-4 Richmond as we go to the last of the 3rd championship series in the Pacific Coast League. The Southern Division has been won by Albuquerque, a 12-11 winner in extra innings today in the completion of a suspended game from last night. A wild one there. So Albuquerque will head into the finals. And in the South, that series is now tied at 2, a 14-inning game won by Salt Lake City and Vancouver 1-0. Dave Stevens, who was with the Minnesota Twins much of the year, won that ball game. Andrew Lorraine, who pitched a while for the California Angels, had 11 scoreless innings. Eastern League Championship Series beginning today. Harrisburg defeated Binghamton 5-4. Probably the 2 best teams in the Eastern League, the Binghamton Mets and the Harrisburg Senators. The Senators, an Expos farm club. There's a shot, hit a mile foul by Joe Liss. He doubled home run his first time. In the Southern League Series, tied at a game apiece now, Huntsville, the Oakland Athletics Ball Club, defeated the Carolina Mudcats 6-0. A shutout for John Wasden. That's a foul, 0-2 to Liss. Ernie Young hit a home run for Huntsville, as did Jim Wagoner. And then in the Texas League, El Paso beat Jackson 4-0 for the championship. That's high. Of course, the Texas League, that El Paso, I'm not sure why, but it was there maybe 6 or 7 years ago. They had a regular season game. The final score was 38-23.
Well, I can tell you why I played in the Texas League in El Paso.
Yeah?
It travels well there. And you said Mudcats, huh? Speaking of Mudcats, spoke to Mudcat Grant a couple of days ago. One of the all-time characters of Major League Baseball and a great pitcher.
Mudcat Grant. I used to love to watch him pitch.
Yeah, everyone did.
Had some style out there.
He had some style, some charisma.
Curveball, strike 3 call. So Seelbach gets Liss looking. Second strikeout for Seelbach. He is ahead here 9-4. He came out in relief of Lohman in the second inning.
Well, here's a big overhand curveball, and it slides over the outside corner. And Liss takes it for strike 3. Very good pitch there from Seelbach.
One ball and no strikes now to Ray Gianelli. Gianelli flying out deep to left his first time. There's a high fly ball to right field. Bobby Moore. 2 men gone. This ballpark, 320 feet down the foul lines, and 375 to the power alleys, and then 434 to straightaway center. And only the lower wall, the lower panels in left field are in play, but all of those panels in right center are in play. In left field, you can see they're about 12 feet high. Then the upper panels, if you hit the ball off those panels, that is a home run, or off the scoreboard as well.
And the bottom panel are made of tin, so you hear a different sound. The upper panels of wood. So the umpire has to go by the sound of where the ball hits, not necessarily by eyesight.
So it sounds like it hit a bat, it's a home run. If it sounds like it hit an aluminum bat, it's in play.
In play.
Would that be a ping?
Ping.
Ping in play. Sounds like it's got some good wood. Touch them all. Strike 3 call. And for the first time. It's 9-4 Richmond after 3 innings here in Syracuse in Game 2. College football premieres on ESPN 2 this Saturday when the Iowa Hawkeyes take on number 8 ranked Penn State. The Nittany Lions crushed Southern Cal 38-14 yesterday. Heisman Trophy candidate Kajana Carter has rushed for 329 yards and 4 touchdowns in Penn State's first 2 games. Iowa and Penn State both 2-0. It's Iowa at Penn State next Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on the Deuce. ESPN 2. Let's go Chiefs. Yeah, the fans looking rather cold and right now trying to maintain some optimism for the Syracuse Chiefs. But right now they are trailing 9-4. And Richmond put 8 runs on the board last night, 9 more in 3 innings tonight. And they have not even been shut out for so much as a single inning in this game. Here's Ed Giovanola. He's hit a 2-run double, and he's flied out to shallow left. Nice catch made by Robert Perez to rob him of a hit. He takes ball 1 from Joe Ganote. The starting pitcher for Syracuse, Jesse Cross, went only 2 1/3 innings. He gave up 8 runs and 10 hits tonight. It's not what they needed from him in this one. And that's a ball. 2-0.
John, you know how much I like statistics, but truthfully, I found some statistics that I find very interesting, comparing, minor league baseball to Major League Baseball. There are approximately 6,000 minor league players trying to get one of 700 jobs in the big leagues. Only 7 or 8% will get 1 day in the big leagues. That means that 10 out of 11 minor league players fail to get to the big leagues.
For even a day.
For even a day. That tells you how tough it is to be a Major League Baseball player. I mean, there's 6,000 players just in the minor leagues trying to get there, and probably another few million at home that wish they had the opportunity. And there are only 700 Major League players.
Hit hard by Giovanola, but the first baseman Liss takes care of it. And there is one away. Well, that's just the guys who signed professional contracts to get to the minor leagues. I mean, the number of players who actually made it to the minor leagues out of the colleges and the high schools and the amateur leagues, even that is just a small fraction.
And I really said that to say why, a lot of people say that Major League players are overpaid, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very short list of players who make it.
This is Eddie Perez, the catcher. He's 2 for 2 in the game with a run batted in. 9-4. His Richmond Braves are out in front. And Ganote got that fastball past him. 0-2 the count.
There's so many stories in the minor leagues. That's why I think that the movies that are made about the minor leagues are more interesting. There's so many different types of stories, so many different characters in the minor leagues. And I think minor league baseball, the players really enjoy. Yeah, they got
3. Rolled a swing on the appeal by Brian Onora, the first base umpire.
Well, we'll take a look and see if you agree with the umpire. Well, I do. I think he went too far. It's a breaking ball that breaks way outside, but Perez was not able to hold the bat back.
Tyler Houston, the hitter now. High and deep down the right field line and into the bullpen area. Not that deep, actually.
That was going to be my comment.
It was high.
It was high. But you've seen so many deep here that you thought that one was deep as well. Huh?
Houston with a run-scoring single in the first, and then he doubled in the third. He's 2 for 2. 1 ball, 1 strike. Houston also had a couple of RBIs last night. Shootout, nobody out of the 4th inning. Right center field, going back is Butler, and that is the inning. Governor's Cup Series for the championship of the International League. Richmond leading 9-4.
John, that's Mike Connor down there at first base.
That's Mike Connor?
That's Mike, and it's his 21st birthday today. Happy birthday, Mike.
He's only 21?
21 years old today.
He looks much older. In fact, he's finally old enough to get a license to carry that thing he's got down there. Where were you when you were 21?
Probably striking out in the big leagues someplace about this time.
Domingo Cedeno is the hitter for Syracuse. He flied out to left his first time. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's facing Chris Seelbach, the second pitcher for the Richmond Braves. Starting pitcher Kevin Lohman went only 1 into 3rd innings. He gave up 4 runs, only 2 of them earned. It's a foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's odd that Lohman pitched 2 games there in the postseason, and each time the Richmond Braves, ordinarily a very fine defensive club, fell apart behind him, including tonight. Jarvis Brown sitting there. He was in the lineup as a starter last night. Had to get out of harm's way in that foul ball. That one is belted deep into left field. Coates going back and hits off his glove. He crashes into the tin, and into second is Cedeno. And Coates, they don't have the padding as you would find in a big league ballpark here.
Now you see in Winston, they need some padding because he gave it a good try and ran out of room. He made a fine catch down the left field line earlier in this ball game. You can see he's trying to regroup there. Let's take a look at it. This ball is hit hard down the left field line. Cedeno, not known for his power that way, but the ball right off the edge of his glove. Oh! And you could hear the tin we've been talking about. That means it's in play, and he was in play.
Now, did you go out and crash into that before the game tonight just to see how it was?
I did take my walk. You know, Marty took his walk last night to check all the dimensions. I took my walk around the infield to check it out today. And the grass, and it's pretty deep out there. In fact, you know, being short, I almost sunk down below it.
Rich Butler, the hitter, facing Seelbach. 2-0 the count. Butler reached third on a misjudged fly ball in center field. They scored it as an error on center field of Mike Kelly. So Butler is 0 for 1 officially. 9-4. Richmond ahead in the last of the 4th inning. Nobody out. Good eye there. Laying off 3-0. Leadoff man Alex Gonzalez is on deck, and now the first baseman Tyler Houston comes over to the mound. But I thought he was going to say something to his pitcher, but he just grabbed the rosin bag and then turned around and ran back to first.
Well, he probably says, I don't know anything about pitching anyway.
3-0. It's a 4-pitch walk with a 5-run lead. And Grady Little, the manager, may well be saying about now something like, can you believe that? Hard to figure.
Well, he retired the side in order last inning.
So the top of the order comes up now, and the bullpen's going to get busy again. Bill Fisher, the Richmond pitching coach, signaled down to the bullpen. Alex Gonzalez has walked and hit a sacrifice fly. There's Judd Johnson, the left-hander, up again. Alex Gonzalez, 21 years of age. Ball 1. Now Now, did the catcher get crossed up? I mean, he didn't. He kind of flinched on that one and looked kind of disgusted.
Well, he goes out to talk to Seelbach to make sure that they're on the same page and using the same signals.
Alex Gonzalez, his dad is an electrical engineering professor at the University of Miami. Alex Gonzalez went to the Venezuelan Winter Leagues this past winter and led the league in runs batted in and shared the home run title. So he's got some pop. Very high.
Well, all of a sudden, Seelbach is just throwing the ball. I mean, he is aiming at trying to just throw a strike instead of really just releasing it. He's not letting it go. These last 6 pitches have not even been close.
Grady Little out to talk to him himself.
One thing you can't do is aim the ball because it causes you more problems as you go along.
Well, talk about problems. On deck is the batting champion in the International League, Shawn Green. Then after him, Robert Perez. And then Carlos Delgado. The big guns are coming up here. Nobody out. 2-0 the count. Well, it gets worse. 3-0. He has not thrown a pitch in the strike zone since Cedeno's double to start the inning.
Well, he has about one more pitch left in this ball game, unless he throws a strike.
Well, there's one more pitch. Bases loaded. Back-to-back walks. And here comes Grady Little. How did you know that, Joe?
Just intuition.
Double. He walked 2 straight hitters on 4 pitches each. Now Judd Johnson comes on to face the league's batting champion, Shawn Green, with the bases loaded. Green hit by a pitch and as a single. And you see Johnson's numbers. Nobody out. The infield double play down. Foul ball, strike 1.
Well, good pitch by Johnson, because the first pitch in a bases loaded situation is always the most important pitch. Because if you miss with it, the hitter can shrink his strike zone and sit on some pitches from you. You get a strike as he did, now you're in control of the at-bat.
Cedeno at third, Butler at second, Gonzalez at first. Little high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, Green has not hit that well since the playoffs began. Only 5 for 22 in the postseason. Too low with the slider, 2-1. Well, one thing we discovered, although John Olerud, whom Shawn Green reminds you a little bit of, Olerud doesn't hit as well against lefties as he does right-handers. Hits lefties pretty well, though.
Yes.
We'll see about Green. Over the outside, nice pitch.
Let me put it this way. He hit 344 for the season. He hit pretty well against everyone, I'm sure.
2-2 the count with Robert Perez, a right-handed hitter, and a good one on deck. Reach for it, tap slowly. Mordecai with 1 play. That's the first in time. Coming to the score is Cedeno, making it 9-5. Butler to third, and Gonzalez over to second base.
That was real good pitching there by Johnson, because he kept the league's leading hitter off balance the entire at bat.
Left fielder Robert Perez.
Robert Perez singled home a run in the first inning, and then he walked in the second. He's also made a sensational defensive play, robbing Giovanola of Richmond of a hit. Now he got a chance to pick up a couple of runs batted in here. Infield is deep up the middle. Too low, ball 1. Perez 7th in the league in the regular season with a 304 average and hitting .429 in the playoffs. 9-5 the score. Runners at second and third. 2-0. Now, you might pitch around this guy with first base open, but if you end up walking him, you've got Carlos Delgado, the most dangerous hitter maybe in the league, and he would be the tying run.
Exactly. No, I think you have to go after Perez.
There's Delgado.
You just can't throw him a fastball down the middle.
The shortstop, that'll get a run home. Mordecai throws out Perez, and it is 9-6. Gonzalez holding at second base. Now Delgado. Now he has had a hitless series and has been really tied up tonight. First inning, a double play with 2 men on and nobody out. And then with the 2 men on and 2 men out in the second inning, he struck out. So he'll try it again now. Carlos Delgado.
But he's always dangerous. That's the problem. Anytime he walks to the plate, he's a free swinger. And free swingers are always dangerous. They can be 0 for 20, but they're going to be swinging just as hard and still aggressive at the plate.
Delgado 0 for 2 tonight. 9-6. So again, Syracuse cutting into that Richmond lead. We're only in the 4th inning. Left-hander against left-hander here.
John, we saw a little bit of this last night. Syracuse, when they do get runners in scoring position, they don't always deliver the base hit, but they do not strike out very often. They move them along by putting the ball in play.
Well, we've just seen 2 ground balls for RBIs here, and that's 5 ground balls for RBIs in this series in 2 games.
And that's what they do put the ball in play.
Plus a sacrifice fly tonight. By Johnson. Man, he smoked one at Johnson, and he caught it. Friday night for the wide open action of the Canadian Football League as the Calgary Stampeders host the Las Vegas Posse. The Stampeders, led by Doug Falluti, 8-2 for the year, averaging 40 points per game. Las Vegas and Calgary Friday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on ESPN 2, The Deuce. In Syracuse, it's a cool night. Temperatures are supposed to fall into the 40s. It feels like late October for the finals. That's just what we would expect.
You sure the temperatures haven't already dropped to the 40s?
I'm not so sure that they haven't, no. Now, the funny thing is, Joe, after we leave here, I think the high tomorrow is supposed to be 83. 84 on Tuesday. So maybe we'll get some of that kind of weather when we get to Richmond. Here is Mike Mordecai, a Bucky Dent fan as a youngster. And that was his idol, his hero. He'd watch Dent play in the old game of the week on Saturday afternoons. And he used to think, hey, if that guy can play in the big league, so can I.
You know, it's funny, John, that happens in a lot of cases. You know, you see a player that resembles your style of play, and you say, well, if he can make it, I can too. And sometimes that helps you a lot to get to the big leagues.
He says he's not a real big guy. Didn't have a whole lot of power, but he's in the big leagues. He says, maybe I can do that too. So that was his model.
I was like that with Nellie Fox. I was kind of a guy that I felt, hey, if he can make it, I can too. And lucky enough, I played with Nellie my first year in the big leagues.
That's a strike over the outside from Ganote. 2-2 the count. We're in the 5th inning. 9-6. Richmond ahead. Bullpen activity for Syracuse, meanwhile. Down and in. 3-2 to Mordecai. Mordecai's from Birmingham, Alabama. Came to the Braves system out of the University of South Alabama. So hoping to make it as a utility man in the big leagues. That's a hard hit grounder down the left field line. It will go into the corner. Giving chase is Perez. And into second with a double is Mordecai. Now Brian Kowitz, the leadoff man tonight, who has had a big night. Twice he has gone deep. Once in the second leading off against Jesse Cross, just a liner down the line. And then again in the 3rd inning.
One a fastball, and this is a breaking ball, the second one. He's acting more like a middle-of-the-order hitter than a leadoff hitter tonight.
Well, you know, he has really saved the best for last. He went 10 for his first 14 in 3 games against Charlotte right at the end of the regular season where they clinched the divisional title, including a home run in the top of the 10th inning that gave them a victory in one of those games. Into left center. There is Perez. And that is out number 1. Coates, an easy out this time. Mordecai holding at second.
And not a good out, John. With a runner at second and no one out, he should have been trying to pull the ball to the right side or at least drop down a bunt. But if you hit 2 home runs, I think you should be able to pull the ball.
Now Bobby Moore comes up. Moore has a single and a double and has reached on an error by the third baseman, Howard Battle. So 2 for 3 officially. That's inside. He hit .366 during the season in AAA in 216 at-bats and is hitting .333 in the playoffs. Bobby Moore. Into right center field. Green, he's got it. Back to second will go Mordecai. Well, had Coates gotten Mordecai to third, that fly ball by Moore would have scored him easily.
Exactly. And that's why you do it. If you get a leadoff double, you can score a run without the benefit of another base hit. Just by moving the runner up with good outs.
Center fielder, Mike Kelly.
Mike Kelly to hit it out. He was the big man last night. And has been in the postseason with 9 RBIs in the first 5 postseason games. 2 for 3 tonight. Runner at second, 2 down. Ball 1. Nine runs and 13 hits for the Richmond Braves with 2 errors. 6 runs and 5 hits and 1 error for Syracuse. We're in the top of the 5th. High in the air into deep left center. Going back is Perez, and it is gone. Another home run for Kelly. Kelly doesn't know. He's the last one to know.
Well, he didn't hear that wood sound as it hit the wall above the tin. I would say he's back in the running for that MVP you were talking about.
Well, that's 11 RBIs for him. In 6 games in the postseason, he gets 6 RBIs in the Governor's Cup Series in 2 games. He got 3 hits tonight. 11-6, and again, Richmond starts to pull away.
It's a breaking ball, and it's not a bad pitch. The ball is down, and he goes out. It actually hits right on top of the first fence and bounces up into the second one.
Well, for the Richmond club tonight, talk about some heavy hitting. 5 doubles and 3 homers, and look where this one lands.
Right up on top and bounces into the second fence.
And Lopez has his second hit of the game. Number 15 all told for Richmond. And again, of those 15 hits, there have been 5 doubles and 3 home runs.
And we're only in the 5th inning.
That can't be right.
Yes. 15 hits in the 5th inning.
Oh, we're going to get a pitching change. It'll be Lester Lancaster on in relief of Ganote. 1 on, 2 out, 2 in, 11-6, Richmond in the 5th inning. We'll be back.
Hey, MCI customers, it sounds so easy to get big savings with all those MCI friends and family plans, but first you got to give out a list of names and numbers of your friends and family. Keep that list up to date. And after all that, anytime you call someone not on your list, you won't save anything at all. You may even have to pay up to $36 a year in fees. Why bother? Now, for a simple way to save from AT&T. With True USA Savings, spend $25 a month, subtract 20% off your AT&T bill. Guaranteed. To switch to AT&T, call 1-800-PIC-ATT. Get True USA Savings, then you're free to call anyone, anytime, anywhere in the U.S. and save 20%. No lists, no fees, no hoopla. We'll even switch you for free. All you got to do is call AT&T.
Your true voice.
This is you. This is the commercial you see. This is the number you call. This is the box that comes. This is the machine you get. This is the number you call. These are the exercises you do. This is how long it takes. This is how often you do it. This is the number you call. This is how you'll feel when you're done. The SoloFlex Muscle Machine, just $39 a month. Call now for a free brochure and video. This is the number you call.
Tuned to a world with its very own wavelength. No words, just deeds. Hot Summer Nights with Elle McPherson, tomorrow at 9 on ESPN.
We're back. Hasta la vista, baby. Here is Les Lancaster to try and get somebody out. And that's been a problem for the Syracuse Chiefs tonight. They're trailing 11-6. Wait a minute. As there's ball one to Jose Oliva. 2 down, runner at first. Oliva's 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. He's the big home run hitter, hitting 5th in the order.
Said, wait a minute.
Wasn't the score about 11-6 at one point in that World Series game, Game 4 last October?
Probably.
Philadelphia was leading.
Heads up, John. That one came right into the booth. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to help you, John, but, you know, I figured I better move.
I was thinking to myself, what was that score last October? And then there's this ball that was heading right for my nose. Fortunately, I'm unfazed. There's another one. He's taking aim at us here. Incoming.
Well, you said yesterday you wanted to get one of these baseballs. You did say that.
Yeah.
It's an International League baseball.
Yeah.
Signed by President Randy Mobley.
I thought for a moment maybe it was the last thing I would ever get. Yeah. It wasn't so much that I got one of these baseballs. It got me. Jose Oliva. 32 home runs this year altogether. 11-6, Richmond ahead. Lopez runner at first. And that's a ball from Lancaster. 2-2. Lancaster went 14-3 this year in relief. 64 appearances. That's a lot of wins out of the bullpen.
And one of the pluses he's always had is that he will take the ball every day. Just give me the ball.
Although right now, I think manager Bob Didier would prefer to have somebody who would get him an out.
Yes.
Get plenty of guys taking the ball, but not many getting an out here. Lancaster, the third pitcher of the game. Jesse Cross, the starter, went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 8 runs and 10 hits. Ganote went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 3 runs and 5 hits.
Guess they're thinking it's not working tonight.
Leading off for the Chiefs, first baseman, Joe.
And you saw it live right here on ESPN. Here is Joe Liss. And he takes ball 1 outside. It was in those the Major League movies, right?
Yeah, the voodoo doll.
The one player said prayers to Joe Voodoo in his locker. Fly ball by Liss, caught in center by Kelly, 1 away. Liss is 1 for 3 tonight. Run scoring double back in the first inning. That'll bring up Ray Gianelli, 11-6. Richmond is back ahead by 5. 3 different times tonight. Richmond has led this game by 5.
And there's Joe Boo.
What's left of it?
Oh, no.
Ball 1 to Ray Gianelli. Gianelli flied deep to left in the first, and he flied to right in the third. 0 for 2. 11 runs, 15 hits for Richmond, 6 runs, 5 hits for Syracuse. The pitcher is Judd Johnson, the third Richmond pitcher of the game. Judd was in 40 regular season games. All in relief. Was 6 and 5. Pitched 76 in the third innings. That's called strike. 2-2 the count. This will be the final game of the year here in Syracuse. Then they will have only one more year in this ballpark in Syracuse. They're going to build a new one. Right outside the left field grandstand, out in what is now the parking lot, they're going to build a fabulous new facility here. That one is hit high and deep and foul off into the night. That used to be the old clubhouse out there behind the right field wall. Now it's just a vacant building. This ballpark opened up in 1934. It's called Municipal Stadium then, and that was the first year of the ballpark. That's how some of the fans arrived here for a ball game that year. So the 61st season for this park. Foul off to the left field side and into the grandstand. 3-2 to Gianelli. Babe Ruth, who also played here, as he and Lou Gehrig used to, in the offseason, take their barnstorming teams around.
Was that Forrest Gump with him?
Then we need to see that shot again.
Let's see that shot again.
Forrest Gump was always in the middle of all those historic things.
Looks a little bit like Forrest.
Three and two the count. Strike 3 call. Johnson gets Gianelli. Well, he's handled all of the left-handed hitters that he has faced since coming on. He's faced 5 hitters. 3 of them have been lefties.
Well, this pitch is down and away, right on the outside corner. Strike 3 call. Good pitch.
Howard Battle, the hitter now. Battle has doubled and has been caught out on strikes, and it looks like Gianelli's giving Jim Paler, the plate umpire, a little grief from the dugout. 1 ball to no strikes to Battle. Battle takes a strike on the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Battle looks none too pleased. This ballpark was built in 48 days. They agreed that they would move a team here from Jersey City if they would build a ballpark. Caught by Mordecai. Nice play. That is the inning. They're going to build a new ballpark here. It's going to cost $23 million. It will take a little longer than 48 days. 3 up and 3 down. We go to the 6th inning. 11-6 Richmond.
Every day we all find a way. A promise made, a promise kept, giving it our best.
Only the best garages display the Napa Auto Care sign. You know they'll fix it right using Napa parts. No wonder Americans trust Napa Auto Care centers to keep their vehicles running.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
You're looking at millions of dollars of lost savings. Savings you never received because your business used AT&T. Which is why when it comes to savings, hundreds of thousands of businesses are demanding proof. MCI will analyze your AT&T bill and give you proof positive, written proof of how much your business can save by switching to MCI. So call MCI and see how much of this is yours.
is ready to launch a new era in furnaces.
Begin countdown.
5 years in planning. 4 years in development. 3 years in lab testing. 2 years in field testing.
1.
Now there's only one choice in high-efficiency furnaces. Quiet, tough, reliable. The new Rheem 90 Plus furnace. It's taking high efficiency to new heights.
All systems are go.
Rangers. Cherokees. Broncos. Explorers. Pathfinders. Blazers. Any pickup or 4x4. On-road or off. Boy, do we have a tire for you. The tough LTX Light Truck Series from Michelin.
A new pitcher's come on for the Syracuse in the 6th inning, with Richmond leading 11-6. That is the left-hander, Travis Baptist. And here he is as the 4th pitcher of the game for the Syracuse ball club. And you see his numbers for the year. Gave up a lot of home runs, 20 in only 122 and 2/3 innings. And for that matter, gave up a lot of hits. Travis Baptist. He was a high school teammate of his current teammate, last night's starting pitcher for Syracuse, Scott Brow. Both went to high school in Oregon, Hillsborough High School in Oregon. Here is Ed DiGiovanola, 1 for 3 tonight. A double and 2 runs batted in. He takes a strike. Baptist was coached in high school by a fellow by the name of Mike Bachman, who's the brother of Wally Bachman. Used to be a big leaguer with the Mets and with a number of teams for many, many years. 13 years, I think, for Wally Bachman in the big leagues.
Well, they characterize him as a breaking ball pitcher, but he's sneaky fast with the fastball.
And that's a base hit. Kind of hung that curveball up there.
Again, John, that's what I've been impressed with most in the 2 days we've been here, is the way that these hitters are taking these pitches the other way. You don't see that nearly as often as you should, even in the big leagues. But after 2 strikes, he waited, threw him a breaking ball, and he just took it the other way. But we've seen several hitters do that. So he just takes this breaking ball and just lines it to left field. Much easier to hit that pitch the other way than it is to try to pull it.
Here is Eddie Perez, 2 for 3 tonight. With a run batted in, 2 runs scored. 11-6, Richmond ahead. We're in the 6th inning. Fastball, 0-1. By the way, Travis Baptist, in the winter last year, played in the Hawaiian League. I know that you know this, Joe, because you were there. You even broadcast some of their games. He played for the Honolulu Sharks,
but he didn't pitch that day.
Base hit. Hit number 17 for Richmond. Richmond finished in 8th this year in runs scored in the International League. They're just wearing these guys out in the postseason. Joe Townley, backup catcher on the bullpen. You saw him saying hi to mom and dad on his shin guards. Says hi to his brothers on his the gloves there. Eric, and is it Luke? Tell him to steady on now a little bit. There we go. Oh, Dwayne. Eric and Dwayne.
That was close.
Oh, my hat. Okay.
Oh, and hi, Deb.
It's for Les.
Now, a lot of people might say, well, who's Deb? You know, they might think, well, maybe that's his girlfriend.
Well, I'll say it. Who's
maybe it's
Deb?
his wife. It's Les Lancaster's wife. Now, why he's having her name on his hat, I don't know.
This is the minor leagues.
Yeah.
They do things differently down here.
Actually, he's wearing Les Lancaster's hat.
Oh, okay.
I guess because Lancaster got in the game now, so he's no longer able to be out in the bullpen with the hat like that. You see what I'm saying? So Townley had to do it for him.
Okay.
It makes sense.
I'll accept that.
It makes sense. Think about it. Tyler Houston is the hitter. He has singled home a run. He's doubled and scored a run, and he's flying to center. 2 men on, nobody out, and the Syracuse bullpen is busy. Randy Phillips is up out there. Giovanola at second, Perez at first. So Baptist gets the first out of the inning.
Well, we said he was sneaky fast, and he sneaks this fastball right by Houston.
You know, I never liked that expression, sneaky fast.
Sneaky fast. I don't exactly know what it means either, but that's what it said.
It makes it sound like the guy is sneaky. You know what I'm saying? Like a sneak?
Well, most pitchers are, John. You know, they will.
Sneaky?
Yeah, they will wet the ball from on one side and throw it.
Really?
Scuff it up.
This is Mordecai to right field. Over for it is Green. Tagging at second is Giovanola, and he'll go on down to third. Holding at first, Perez. Mordecai retired, but now with runners at first and third, that will bring on the home run man for the night, Brian Kowitz, who's hit 2 big flies. 17 hits for Richmond. That ties the Richmond season high in that category. The most runs they scored in a game this year was 13. There's Randy Phillips heating up in the bullpen, the right-hander. Runners at first and third in the 6th inning. 11-6 to score. Brian Kowitz from the Baltimore area. He's a neighbor of mine, Joe.
Okay.
And I discovered. He's the guy who always calls over and asks us to keep it down.
Turn that rap music down a little bit, huh?
Brian Kowitz, 2 for 4 tonight with a couple of big flies. He takes ball 1. 11-6. Not much to cheer about here in Syracuse. He came in with high hopes. You know, they almost didn't even make the postseason. They had to beat out Ottawa for second place. I guess you'd call that, what, the wild card berth. Yes. They only finished at 500. They were 71-71 out there in the American League West. They would have won the division by 9 games. It's all relative, I guess.
Well, but then they beat Charlotte.
They beat Pawtucket.
And
the first place team.
Yeah, the first place team. Richmond had the best record in the entire league, 80-64, if I remember correctly. 80-61. 62.
Oh, 61?
61. Yeah, 80-61.
And down to second base goes Perez, uncontested.
Well, do they give him a stolen base or a...
Well, you know, he made it to second base, and if this guy gets a hit, he'll score.
Here we go there at Richmond.
You were right. You were right.
80-61, right? And Charlotte, of course, was second.
Charlotte had the second best record.
And Pawtucket was 78-64.
Pawtucket had the second best.
Yeah, in the entire International League, they were 78-64. And Syracuse was 71-71. And there you see they beat Ottawa by 1 game.
Ottawa got hot right toward the end there. Had a long winning streak to get themselves. Actually, I think they went ahead of Syracuse at one point. Kowitz with runners at second and third. The 2-2 pitch. Ball 3. So what's that? 10 teams were in this league, the National League. 5 in each division. And Richmond finished 8 out of those 10 in runs scored. And yet here they are with 11 on the board. We're only in the 6th inning. They scored 8 last night in the Governor's Cup Finals. Did he swing? Yes! Joe Thibodeau, the third base umpire, on appeal, made the call. So Kowitz down on strikes. 2 men stranded. We're going to go to the last of the 6th inning. It's 11-6 Richmond.
Millions of dollars of lost savings. Savings you never received because your business used AT&T, which is why thousands of businesses are demanding proof. Call MCI and see how much of this is yours.
I never park up front in a parking lot. That's how door dings happen. The towels bug my wife. She calls me a tightwad, but I'm not a tightwad. I just don't want to scratch the upholstery. No, if people took care of their cars, they wouldn't have to keep buying new ones.
Pure oil now.
I change my own oil and use Purelator filters.
Pure oil later.
Have to watch the dog up there. Tell
Legends live on Purelator.
Oh, look, a nickel.
One of the ways Ryder makes your move easier is by renting trucks with automatic transmission. Because moving doesn't have to be an uphill battle. Ryder, we're there when you need us.
An examination of your AT&T bill could reveal savings you never received. Savings you'll see when you switch to MCI, which is why thousands of businesses are getting a second opinion from MCI. So call us. You'll feel a lot better.
Tuned to a world with its very own wavelength. No words, just deeds. Hot Summer Nights with Elle McPherson, tomorrow at 9 on ESPN.
This town ain't big, this town ain't small. It's a little of both, they say. Our ball club may be minor league, but at least it's AAA. We sit below the Marlboro Man, above the right field wall. We do the wave all by ourselves. Hey, a blind man could have made that call. There's nothing like the view from the Chiefs.
Game 2 of the 1994 Governor's Cup Championship Series from Syracuse on ESPN. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, and Richmond is leading 11-6, threatening to go ahead with a commanding 2-0 advantage in this best-of-5. Domingo Cedeno, he doubled starting a rally in the 4th inning, leading off here in the 6th against Judd Johnson. Shallow center, Mike Kelly, one away.
And John, the pressure starts to build on Syracuse.
Indeed, and Game 3, if Syracuse cannot come back and win this one, could be their ultimate demise. That'll be seen on ESPN2. That'll be Tuesday night at 7:30, if necessary. Game 4, right here on ESPN at 7:30 Eastern. And then Thursday, if necessary, Game 5. The final, if we get that far, would be on the Deuce as well. Here is Eddie Zosky, a pinch hitter. Into the hole at short. Mordecai, long throw. Off the bag and off the glove of Houston. Zosky pinch hitting for Butler. I would imagine to give him a hit on that.
We better wait.
And it is a base hit. Hit number 6 for Syracuse.
Mordecai probably could have taken one extra step and set himself, but he tried to get rid of it quickly, and he was offline.
And the runner, Zosky, getting the pinch hit single. That will bring up leadoff man Alex Gonzalez. Open activity, meanwhile, for the Richmond Braves. A familiar name has begun warming up. That's a strike to Gonzalez. Gonzalez has walked, hit a sacrifice fly, and he's walked again. So officially, he has not had an at-bat tonight. He's had 3 plate appearances. That's low from Judd Johnson. 1 ball, 1 strike. 11-6 is the score. Richmond ahead in the last of the 6th. He's still a long way to go in this ball game. This Syracuse ball club, very explosive. There is Pedro Borbon. Not the Pedro Borbon, who pitched for so many years in Cincinnati. Pedro Borbon Jr., a left-hander. And a good one. Did he swing? No, says first base umpire Brian Honora. 3-1 to Gonzalez. League batting champion Shawn Green is on deck. Gonzalez hit .284 in the regular season.
Pedro's father, the right-hander, was one of the best relief pitchers in all of baseball.
High fly ball, right center. That one ended up looking a little more difficult than you would have thought. Bobby Moore eventually caught it. 2 men gone, and Shawn Green is coming up. In the American Association Final Series, Indianapolis held on to defeat Nashville 5-3. Terry Bross, the winner over Brian Kaiser. Willie Green had 2 home runs for Indianapolis in that game. Willie Green. Indianapolis is the Reds.
Yes.
AAA club. Used to be the Montreal farm team for a long time. But Montreal's team is now Ottawa, right?
Yes.
Am I keeping up on this?
I think you're all right.
The Lynx.
You're speaking of Willie Green. He was voted the best batting prospect in the American Association and the best power prospect. So he's living up to that billing tonight.
Shawn Green, it's 0-2. Remember, Johnson came into the game with Green at the plate and the bases loaded in the 4th inning. And he got Green on a ground out. And he's been getting almost everybody ever since. And he's been the first pitcher to come into this game to have that kind of success. He's gone 2 2/3 innings and has only 1 base runner. That is Zosky, who's over at first. And Zosky reached only on an infield hit. Shawn Green hit by a pitch tonight. He is singled and he's grounded out with an RBI. Strike 3 on the outside corner. Well, Judd Johnson is going to turn this game around. 3 shutout innings. It's 11-6. Richmond after 6.
Football fans, get ready for Sports Illustrated's exclusive NFL Team Kickoff Kit. Free with your paid subscription to SI. Just tell us your favorite team.
Cowboys! Packers! 49ers.
And we'll give you more than ever before.
This is incredible! I love it.
Your Team Kickoff Kit starts with your official 1994 team video.
Free Cowboys video? Free Browns video?
If I got a free Giants video, I'll be the luckiest man in the world.
Oh, man! Where can I get it?
It's an inside look at your favorite team. Brought to you as only Sports Illustrated can.
And ain't no surprise!
Your Team Kickoff Kit also brings you this authentic NFL team cap free. It's an unbelievable football package that no real fan can be without. Call now. Use your credit card. And you'll get 54 issues of SI for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. And your incredible Team Kickoff Kit is free. Nobody gets you into football like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Let's play baseball. Hi, I'm Ozzie Smith of the St. Louis Cardinals. My new video from ESPN will teach you the skills and strategies you need to improve your baseball game. You'll learn how to give signs, take a lead, steal a base, turn a double play, hit pitch, and a whole lot more. It will make you a better ball player.
To order Let's Play Baseball with Ozzie Smith, call 1-800-717-ESPN. Only $14.98 plus $4 shipping and handling.
Unlimited sports news is finally available. Bob knows.
Morning, Bob. Your email yesterday, dead on. The Dodgers pulled it out last night with some 12th inning heroics.
With ESPN Net on Prodigy, Bob talks to the Sports Center pros every day.
Hey, Bob, for answers to your NFL questions, check out the inside info on coaching changes.
What you want, when you want. Call 1-800-ESPN-PRO. Get ESPN Net on Prodigy.
Hey, how about some Super Bowl tickets?
11-6. Richmond leading as we go to the 7th inning. Richmond coming up.
Number 25, Robert Perez. Perez now playing right field. Shawn Green in center.
Get some changes around the outfield now. And we will
right fielder Bobby Moore.
pass those along to you shortly. The left-hander, Travis Baptist, facing Bobby Moore. Ball 1. Moore is 2 for 4. Single and a double. That's too high. On deck will be Mike Kelly, who has been a one-man wrecking crew in this series. Heck, he's been a two-man wrecking crew. That's how impressive he's been. 2-1 the count now to Bobby Moore, the second place hitter in the order. Kelly, and then cleanup man Louis Lopez due to follow. 2-1 the count. 2 more. Oh. 3-1 the count. Baptist, the 4th pitcher of the game for Syracuse. The first 2 pitchers gave up 11 runs. That is ball 4 to Bobby Moore. Now the changes. There is Eddie Zosky staying in the game to play second base after he pinch hit for Rich Butler. Zosky now at second. Domingo Cedeno has moved from second base over to left field. Shawn Green has moved into center field from right field. And Robert Perez has moved from left field over to right field. You got it? This could be 2 to second 1. And Gonzalez back to first. 2. Double play. After 3 hits and another home run, Mike Kelly, first ball swinging, hits a 4-6-3 double play.
Well, he hits it sharply, but they have him played up the middle. This ball is grounded right back up the middle. But you can see Zosky was already there. He feeds Gonzalez. Gonzalez takes a little extra time, but he fires to first in time to get Kelly.
Shootout, nobody on. Here is Luis Lopez. Double homer run, popped to third, walked and singled. He is 2 for 3. Shootout, nobody on in the 7th inning. Crowd very quiet here in Syracuse. That's a foul straight back. 0-1 the count. These are caps that are no longer used in baseball. Oh, and 2 the count. Well, maybe they will be. Maybe something.
Maybe they'll be used.
Amazing will happen here in the next couple of days, and they'll
maybe
start
they'll be
using
used
them
by the weekend. And where would we be next week?
Next week?
Yeah, I lost track of the schedule.
Ottawa?
No. I mean, if they come back.
Scranton? I'm going to have to get a schedule.
Baltimore. You would be at home anyway.
In Baltimore?
Yes.
Great. The Orioles and the Yankees next Sunday. They've got to get it settled now. 11-6 Richmond.
When it comes to paint, we're making a name for ourselves because we make our own and guarantee its quality. That's Ace, the name to know for paint.
One of the ways Ryder makes your move easier is by having a 24-hour number so you can call us with any questions that come up along the way.
Does Route 60 run through Phoenix?
Ryder, we're there when you need us.
You run a great place to visit, so lots of people call, but the people taking orders can't keep up at all. When customers hear, "Please hold," what you're selling goes unsold.
Sprint Business had a real solution for Taos Valley Resorts. Enhanced 800 service reroutes calls instantly, so every customer hears
Taos Valley Resorts. Sprint helped us increase reservations, so we're seeing more profits. And that's why I'm in business in the first place.
Call Sprint Business. We help business do more business.
To some, these look like mere engine parts, but to us, they're works of art. Together, they form a remarkable engine that gives the new Nissan Maxima both more horsepower and 15% better fuel efficiency than a Lexus ES300. You would expect a high-powered car to guzzle gasoline. Now there's one that sips it. The new Maxima from Nissan.
Sorry.
Last of the 7th inning. It's 11-6. Richmond leading Syracuse. This is John Miller along with Joe Morgan, your Governor's Cup broadcasters. Next Sunday night, It would be the Yankees, Don Mattingly company, Cal Ripken and the Orioles. Haven't seen those guys in a long time.
I was going to ask, who are those guys?
So don't count on it. But we'll be ready just in case. There's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Robert Perez, the third place hitter in the Syracuse batting order, facing the left-hander Judd Johnson, who has spoiled everything for the Syracuse fans. Is coming in. He came out in the bases loaded, nobody out situation in the 4th inning. And the play made by Giovanola to get Perez 1 away in the 7th. And although a couple of those runners scored, they scored only on infield outs. And a lot of folks, Joe,